Hello, welcome to another week of Dudley Distance Learning. This week's story is called Dad's New Job. On a special day at school, will Henry's dad embarrass him in front of his whole class? Here's a photo of Henry and his dad. I can't wait for tomorrow, Nikki tells me on the bus ride home. It's going to be awesome. I love taking your dad to school day, don't you? Yeah, totally, I say, which is the opposite of the truth. I'm not psyched for tomorrow at all. In fact, I'm kind of hoping tomorrow will never come. My dad is showing a model of the airplane he flies, Nikki brags, and he's bringing in an actual cockpit steering wheel. That's great, I stare out the window, desperate to get home. But the bus seems to be going extra slow today, which gives Jenna, Cal, and Sean plenty of time to jump into the conversation and describe a bunch of amazing things their fathers are going to talk about. Jenna's dad is going to bring some crazy looking plants from his garden shop. Cal's dad is going to show us some of the tools he uses to build houses. And Sean's dad is going to make one of his famous pear and pineapple pizzas. Eventually, all eyes turn to me. What's your dad doing, Henry? Cal asks me. Does he have something cool planned? For sure, I lie, but it's a surprise. He hasn't even told me yet. They all nod approvingly. That's awesome, Nikki says. Can't wait. I can. Finally, the bus pulls up to my street, and without another word, I jump out and take off toward my house. Hey, wait, I thought you were coming over, Nikki yells, but I pretend not to hear him. Panting and sweating, I don't usually run all the way home, or even part of the way home, to be honest. I open the front door and lean against the hallway wall to catch my breath, which is when I hear my dad's voice. Hen, is that you? My shoulders sag. The kitchen door bursts open, and there is Dad with my 4-year-old sister Lily riding on his shoulders. Lily's red hair is falling over my dad's eyes, and he's pretending he can't see. I wasn't sure where you were, but there you are, he hollers at me. Lily cracks up, and I try to laugh. He said that line forever. It was one of our fun jokes back when I was little, when he'd walk in the front door from work and I'd hide in the closet. But now he's the one who's home all day waiting for me. So it's not funny anymore. I'd like to never hear it again. How was your day? Dad asked as I pour myself a bowl of cereal. I shrug. It was okay, I guess. How was yours? Pretty solid. I'm making spaghetti for dinner, and Lily and I finished the new puzzle in record time. I did the whole thing, announces Lily. Daddy barely helped at all. That's great, I say. Way to go. Dad plops Lily in a chair with her stuffed giraffe. As soon as she starts playing with it, he says to me, By the way, I found something crumpled up in your pants pocket this morning. The flyer about take your dad to school day? I freeze, the spoon 2 inches from my mouth. Did you forget to tell me it was tomorrow? I stare down at my bowl. Dad, I'm really sorry. No, it's fine, he says, smiling. I might be taking Lily to an art class tomorrow, so I'm not sure I could go anyway. It's all good. Okay, I say. I feel lousy about it at first, and my dad doesn't seem upset. Maybe he's glad he doesn't have to go. My mom gets home after Lily and I have eaten dinner, but she likes it when we sit with her at the table. Good spaghetti, she tells Dad. Dad smiles. It is good, I say to Mom, but you used to make it better. Hey, wait a second, my dad says, pretending to be insulted. Are you saying I don't have game in the kitchen? My mom laughs. I think it's delicious, she says. Mom asks each of us questions about our day. I'm relieved that Dad doesn't mention take your dad to school day. The next morning, I'm even more relieved that he doesn't bring it up when I'm getting ready for school. At the door, he hugs me goodbye. Have a great day, is all he says. I hug him back without looking at him. Lily hugs my legs and I kiss the top of her head. At school, everyone is too excited to concentrate. Well, everyone but me. After school, after lunch, we all gather back in the classroom and take our seats. A bunch of dads are already there. I wait for Nikki or Cal to ask me where my dad is, but luckily they don't notice. Welcome to Take Your Dad to School Day, announces Miss Brancato. Let's thank all the dads for taking time out of their busy schedules to come speak with us today. Everyone claps eagerly. Okay, then, we'll start with Mr. Francis, Nikki's dad. Mr. Francis, who is wearing his pilot's cap, smiles brightly at the class. He talks for 5 minutes about being a pilot and how he learned to fly jets in the Army, and how he now flies giant planes with 400 people in them all the way to China in only 13 hours. Then, one by one, all the other fathers take their turns, telling us what it's like to be a chef, a carpenter, a nurse, an architect, a manager of a store, and a bunch of other things. Finally, everyone is done. I breathe a quick sigh of relief. It seems like no one noticed my dad is missing. But then I hear a voice out in the hall. Hen? I can feel my ears turning red. My dad appears in the doorway. All eyes turn in his direction as he walks to the front of the room and winks at me. I slide down a little lower in my seat. I'm so sorry I'm late, Dad says as he shakes Miss Broncato's hand. Well, we're very glad you came, she says. It just so happens that the timing is perfect. My dad wipes his forehead, and I can tell he's sweating. The kids wait. He turns to face the class. I'm Henry's dad, he says. I'm sure you guys have seen and heard a lot of fascinating stuff today. Well, I have a pretty interesting story too. I lost my job 6 months ago. My company wanted to move me to Spokane, Washington, and I said no. Pulling Henry out of school in the middle of the year didn't seem like the sorry. Didn't seem like the right thing to do, and his little sister Lily had just made her first good friend. So we decided to stay, and my wife got a job, and I got a new job too. Uh-oh, I think to myself. Is he about to make something up? I noticed a few of the other fathers in the back of the room looking up from their cell phones. My dad takes his jacket off. It turns out it's the hardest job I've ever had, staying home and taking care of my family. I've had to learn a ton of things, like how to cook more than just hard boiled eggs, and help organize the soccer parent volunteer schedule, and sew a leg back onto a stuffed giraffe, and even separate the whites from the colors when doing a load of wash. My mind flashes back to a few months ago when Dad did the laundry and my favorite white t shirt turned pink. As soon as I saw it, I went into my room and slammed the door. Now I wish I hadn't. Yep, it's hard work. But I'm figuring it all out, one carpool at a time. My dad pauses looking right at me. Sometimes I miss my old job, but my new one's great, and I love it. I glance around the room. It is as silent as I've ever heard it. My dad nods, takes a deep breath, and puts his jacket back on. That's all I've got. Thanks for having me. People start to clap, and then they clap louder. The heat in my ears melts away, and it's replaced by a much stronger feeling. As my dad heads to the back of the room, I jump up and give him a high five. Way to go, I whisper. On the way back to my seat, I feel someone jab me in the leg with a ruler. I turn around and see it's Nicky. No fair, he says. My dad's always flying somewhere. I wish he was around more. I smile at my dad. Then I look back at Nicky. I know, I say. I'm really lucky. On the bus ride home, we all chatter about our dads, and we get to my stop before I know it. While walking home, I think about how crazy it is that you have to fly to China in one day. I open the front door and hear my dad singing in the kitchen. But this time, my shoulders don't sag. This time, it won't be awkward. This time, as I poke my head through the kitchen door, I know just what to say. I wasn't sure where you were, but there you are.